Welcome to Yonan's Edge, everyone. Today I will be bringing you the CJRB Pyrite. This knife uses AR RPM 9 blade steel. It has a stone-washed, flat grind, drop point blade. We've got milled, fully milled on the inside, stone-washed aluminum scales, ceramic ball bearings. This is a button lock with thumb studs. It has a reversible stainless steel pocket clip that's also stone washed. And we've got 2.8 inches of usable fine edge. We've got a scale length of 4¼ inches. A tip to tail length of just a skosh over 7¼ inches, and an overall weight on my scale of 3.65 ounces. Let's talk about what I like. First of all, the build quality on this knife is phenomenal. I cannot stress that enough. The knife looks immaculate in every way. Nice centered blade. Good looking standoffs, good machining. Gets a big thumbs up for that one for sure. The ergos on the knife are really solid. Here I am with my large glove size hands. There's still some extra room back here. It has a forward choil that is pretty decent. This is very rounded here, so even if you have bigger hands and you decide to choke up a little bit onto the top of there, there's still plenty of room there to keep yourself away from the blade, which I really like. There is well-placed, useful jimping here on the back of the spine, as you can see. That looks fantastic. The button lock on this knife is flawless. There is not even a trace of lock stick. None. Zero zip. This is one of the nicest button lock knives I've ever used. I don't have any lock stick on this knife at all. Your mileage may vary, but this one is phenomenal. Literally falls closed, fires out there really nice. Just a really nice deployment and closure on this particular knife. Looks great, all really machined really nice. Stone washing's done just right, just enough to take the shine off of it and kind of protect the finish of the knife. So again, this thing very well made, very flawless in the execution here. As you can see, lots of milling inside there on both sides of the scales. Good looking back spacers. Solid clip. It's got plenty of springiness to it. Comes all the way back to the back of the knife. So goes in your pocket, shoop, the knife disappears. It is a very good cutter. I have had this now for, I think, about a month and a half. I had a chance to carry it both at work and in my off hours, have diced up and sliced up a lot of cardboard with it, have used it for some light whittling tasks, cut some tie wraps, all things I normally do all the time here. Carried it to work, used it to cut some rope, things like that. Solid performer. Really good performing knife. And like I said, the fit and finish on the thing is fantastic. It really did cut well, held an edge really nice. As far as carryability, the knife is not very thick, goes in your pocket well, doesn't have anything here that catches your hand. You barely even know this knife is in your pocket if it's your primary carry. On the other side, it's still pretty good. I don't reach into my left pocket as often for things. I've carried it on both sides, and it still carries pretty good as a second, your backup knife or your secondary carry. I love the way they did full stone wash on both the blade, the handle, and very lightly stone wash the clip. So this thing's not gonna look scuffed or worn very easily. Are there any issues or dislikes with this knife? Even though there's lots of milling on the scales on both sides, the knife is still a little handle heavy, which makes sense. It's not a huge knife. the balance point is about an inch behind the pivot here. This is where the knife starts to balance out. And I guess that's okay, and for two reasons. One, because it's a medium-sized knife. It's not a full size. So it's gonna have only so much material to work with. They did lighten it up a lot. I would have rather they went with a little more weight in the knife, just a tiny bit, and maybe, you know, left some of this front part unmilled to kind of move the balance point forward. But again, it's not an uncomfortable knife to use. It's actually quite good in your hand, quite ergonomical, has good jimping on it. So, and again, it's really a good cutter. It does really nice with pull cuts and slices. So, very cool. Let's do a size comparison for you. I'm only going to do one of those today. The knife that this is directly the most comparable with is the Benchmade Bug Out. Here it is. Here's a Bug Out. Here's this right next to each other. These are virtually identical. Similar blade shapes, similar handle length. This feels much better and much more firm in your hands than the Bug Out. Obviously, the Bug Out with the stock scales is not totally my cup of tea, even though I own a couple Bug Outs. But this with this size and with this scale length is a really amazing button lock as far as the overall size and ergos of it. So let's summarize. This knife comes in four different at the moment versions. There's a blacked out DLC diamond light coated version of this. There's a DLC black blade and a DLC black scales. And then there is also a G10 and a micarta version of this, I believe. They run from the cheapest to the most expensive, $50 to $60. This particular version right here is $57. It may be, folks, my favorite medium-sized button lock that I've ever handled. Honestly, there are some really good ones out there, but at this price point and with this steel and this fit and finishing materials, this might be one of my favorites. Even at the sub $60 price, in fact, it's one of my favorite CJRBs at the moment, and it might be one of my favorite knives I've bought this year so far. Honestly, I cannot say enough good things about the CJRB Pyrite. Bottom line, highly recommend this knife. You should check it out if you're interested in a sturdy, dependable, well-made button lock knife. All right, folks, that's all I got for you today. That's the CJRB Pyrite. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button down there in the corner. Think about subscribing to my channel. But as always, folks, thanks for watching. Have a great day and stay sharp.